right, guys, welcome to 2-1. We are working on the conic sections. So as you can see, we're going to cover this notes right here that says 2-1, parabolas, day 1. Okay? Here's your warm-up for today. You are supposed to factor the following. You have x squared minus 3x plus 2. So how would you go about factoring that? Let's count how many terms you have. You have 1, 2, 3 terms, and therefore you're going to draw 2 sets of parentheses. Factors of x squared is x and x. 2 numbers that multiply to give you a plus 2, but it's going to add, since it's a plus, to give you a negative 3, and that's negative 1 and negative 2. Negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2. Negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3. And so that's all you have to do, and you place that there. Factoring is an operation that is an inverse of distributive property. All right, let's look at B. Here you have 4 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4. Since you have 4 terms, you're going to group them together. So you're going to group the first 2 together, and you're going to group the second 2 together. If you look at your first 2 groups. Now, what do you guys have in common? What is your greatest common factor? 7r squared. When you factor out 7r squared, you have 3r minus 4. Bring down that plus sign. If it was a minus, you would bring down that minus as well. What is the greatest common factor that goes into both of those? 2, so you're going to factor out a 2. When you factor out a 2, you have 3r minus 4. This type of factoring is called grouping. Notice how you have these 2 that look alike. You put them together. The 2 islands, you put them together. And there you have your warm-up. Go ahead and turn them in. You only got 1 warm-up for the week. Okay? Make sure you put a date. Today is, let me see if I can get this to work. Today is 9/14/2022. So make sure you put a date on there. All right. Let's look at today. What are we doing today? Today you will be able to review the graphs of a parabola. A parabola that has that shape is known as a quadratic function. And it always starts with an x squared leading coefficient. And this is the part has that U shape. So we're going to study that today. All right. First set of notes. Go ahead and see if you can match these up. So we did it in class. What are roots? Root is the same as zeros, is the same as an x-intercept. If you look, this one has 2 roots because you cross the x-axis twice. This one has no root because it never crosses. This one you will have a complex number called imaginary number that we will discuss later. And this one you're having 1 root because you're touching the x-axis and you go right back up. Okay? Why would a quadratic equation have no root? Because it never crosses the x-axis. There's not a solution for it. All right. Next part, we're going to talk about some characteristics, okay? But before we start about characteristics, here are some things I want to talk about first. A quadratic function. A standard form of a quadratic function is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Sometimes you can write it as a function, f of x is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. That is a standard function. The other form that you'll see a quadratic function in is called a vertex form. And this is what a vertex form looks like. Y equals a parentheses x minus, notice the minus, h squared plus k. So notice that. That is called the vertex form, okay? Those are the only 2 forms, and you're going to learn to go from one to the other and vice versa. What's good about this one is it shows you the y-intercept, and you have the a. What's great about the vertex form is it shows the vertex, and it has the A as well. All right, here are some characteristics I want you guys to write down. You might want to pause your video at this moment so you can copy all this down, okay? Okay. Okay, once you're done copying it down, here are some characteristics. A quadratic always has an x squared as your largest power. The parabola gives you a U shape. If the A is positive, that's a letter A. Excuse me, it's going to open up. If it's a negative A, it's going to open down. If it opens up, you'll have a minimum. If it opens down, you'll have a maximum point. Okay? Axis of symmetry. We're going to write axis of symmetry as AOS. That way we don't have to write that word out all the time. And the formula in standard form is x equals negative b over 2a. In vertex form, it's the letter h. That right there is going to be your vertex. And it's going to be your axis of symmetry. Vertex is the highest or lowest points in the parabola. Lowest point being your minimum, highest point being your maximum, and we are going to find those. And if a is positive, a is greater than 0, which means it's positive, you'll have a minimum. If a is less than 0 means negative, you'll have a maximum. Kind of goes along with this. If you did not finish writing all this down, please pause and copy this down in your notes. All right, here are some ways you can graph quadratics, okay? First of all, you need to find the a, b, and c. A is always in front of x squared, b is always in front of the x, and the c is a number. It's a constant, equals y. From there, you need to take a look and determine if the parabola is going to open up or is it going to open down. If your a is positive, it's going to open up. If your a is negative, it's going to open down. Next, you need to find your axis of symmetry. You can use, if it's in standard form, you'll use this formula. If it's in vertex form, you look for the h, okay? Then what you're going to do is, whatever you find for your x value, your axis of symmetry, you're going to plug it into the original equation. That is going to give you your vertex. And remember, it's a point, and a point is written as xy, which is the same as h and k. And the reason they use h and k is because that way you know it's a quadratic. Now, how do you find if you're going to cross the x-axis? Here we go, real solutions. When you plug it in into this formula, when you do plug this in, make sure you put parentheses around your b, in case it's a negative, in case that b is a negative. If you end up with a 0, that means you're going to touch the x-axis one time. Like that. If it is a positive, that means you're going to cross the x-axis twice. So there's your x, there's the x, okay? If your b is a negative, so if you have a b that's a negative, such as this one right here, let me get my pink, all my colors are coming out. You guys see that? That means when you graph on the x-axis, here's your x, it's never going to cross at all. So make sure you're aware of that. And then you can make a table, the values to the left and the values to right, and then you find the corresponding y, and that's how you graph. Number 7, you're going to graph the vertex, the axis of symmetry, plot the ordered pairs, and draw a parabola. And remember, a parabola can open up or it can open down. If you are not done copying down these notes, please pause and copy down these notes in your notes, please. All right, let's take a look at example. Here's our first example. You have negative x squared plus 2x plus 3. So first of all, this is not in vertex form, so you don't know what the vertex is. But if you'll look, you see how this is a negative right here? So your a is a negative. So which way is it going to open? It's going to open down, okay? What number is your a? Negative 1. What number is your b? 2. What number is your c? 3. A is always in front of x squared, b is always in front of the x, it's a linear, and c is your constant, 3. To find your axis of symmetry, you are going to use this formula. Okay. Oops. My apologies. Let me clear that real quick. X equals negative b over 2a. So what's my axis of symmetry? X, it's an x value. It's very important that you write x and y. Negative 2 over 2 times a. So what is negative 2? Divided by 2 times negative 2, which is negative 2, that comes out to be 1. So your axis of symmetry is at 1. So I'm going to go ahead and start graphing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure you label 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all you have to label. So your axis of symmetry is at 1. Okay? So where is x? X goes left and right. It's at 1. I'm going to draw my axis of symmetry, and I'm going to draw dashes, just like that. Okay, so far so good. Now, to find the vertex. To find your vertex, I'm going to plug it back into this equation. Y equals negative x squared plus 2x plus 3. What did we say x is equal to? 1. So we're going to plug it in. Negative 1 squared plus 2 times 1 plus 3. Just like that. Get out your handy dandy calculator. Let me get out of that. Let me clear that. So negative parentheses, x is 1, square. Here's the square button right here if you don't know it. Okay. Plus 2 parentheses 1 plus 3. So what did it come out to be? 4. So y is equal to 4. So what are your vertex? X is 1, y is 4. Just like that. So where is 1, 4? 1, 4 is right here. So I'm going to put a dot. And I know it's going to open down. Okay? All right. Now, take a look. It's all going to open down, so it's going to look like this. Correct? And do you see how this one is way up there? So how many roots you think you're going to have? I know it's going to be 2. But if you wanted to show your work, this is what you would do. B, 2 squared, this is the formula, b squared minus 4ac. Okay? Minus 4 times your a times your c. Let's see if you get a positive or a negative number. All right. So parentheses 2 square minus 4 times negative 1 times 3. Just like that. And you get a positive 16. Since it's a positive, how many roots are you going to have? You're going to have 2 roots. You're going to cross in 2 places. So somewhere along here, I'm going to cross 2. Next step, I'm going to use my calculator to help me. I'm going to go to y equal. Okay, so go to y equal. Clear that. Type in the original equation. Ready? Negative x squared, just like you see it, plus 2x plus 3. And here's your x value right here. Go ahead and hit second table. Go to your vertex. See how you have vertex? What's your vertex? 1, 4. Pick 2 places below it. 2, 3. 3, 0. Pick 2, there's your vertex, 2 above it. 0, 3, negative 1, 0. Just like that, okay? And all you got to do is plot those points and get an idea what it is. 1, 4, 2, 3, 3, 0, 0, 3, negative 1, 0. And there you have your parabola, just like that. That's all you got to do, okay? Now, one thing I'm going to point out is, you see this constant c right here? This is always going to be your y-intercept. Take a look. 0, 3. There's your y-intercept. So, something you can tell just from the graph. All right, now we're going to do a little bit more practice. Pause. Rewind if you have to, okay? Let's go to another example. All right, you guys try this if you can. Your A is 2, B is 12, C is 18. A is positive, so it's going to open up. And if you need to make a little sketch, you see what I did looks like, you go for it, okay? Your axis of symmetry is your x value. So it's negative 12 over 2 times A. Get out of that. Negative 12 divided by parentheses, 2 times 2. You can do it just like that in your calculator. So x comes out to be negative 3. Okay, so far so good. Now I'm going to plug it back into here. Y equals 2 times 3 squared plus 12 times 3 plus 18. Do you see how I'm going to find my vertex? This is how you find your vertex. Okay? 2 parentheses, 3 squared plus 12 times 3 plus 18. Is it? Oh, look at that. I screwed up. What should it be? Not 3, but -3. Let's try this again. I was like, that is way too big of a number for what I'm doing in class. Plus 12 times -3 plus 18. Oh, that looks more like it. So 0. So y here is equal to 0. All right, let's graph our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, always label your graph. Here's x. All right, -3. 1, 2, 3. Draw your axis of symmetry. Your vertex is -3, 0. Let's see how many roots we're going to have. Okay, so we got b squared minus 4 times your a times your c. It's the part underneath the quadratic formula. Okay, that's called a discriminant. Here we go. Parentheses, 12 squared minus 4 times 2 times 18, and you get a positive number. Doesn't matter what it is, it's a positive number. So guess what? You're going to have how many? 2 roots. So you got one crossing here, you're probably going to have another one crossing there. I don't know. Something's not right with this. 2 times 12 times 18. Oh my goodness, look at me. Did you see how I messed up? 12. Here we go. Parentheses, 12 squared minus 4 times 2 times 18. 0. Woo! Mark that off. 0. So if it's 0, how many roots am I going to have? 1. Right there. Okay? All right. Go to y equal. Clear that one. Type it just like you see it. 2x squared plus 12x plus 18. Okay, be careful how you typed it. Notice I did it twice already. Second table, go to your -3, 0. Okay? 2 points below, -2, 2, -1, 8. 2 points above, -4, 2, -5, 8. There you have your coordinates. Ready? 3, 0, -2, positive 2, -1, positive 8. And if they don't mirror each other, then you know you did something wrong. -4, 2, -5, 8. And there you have your parabola. There should be a curve here, not this. This is a no. Okay? That's this here is an absolute value. You need to make sure there's a curve, somewhat of a curve. All right? All right, let's take a look at another example. Okay? This one is in vertex form. But let's take a look. Before you can do any problem, you got to take care. Y. So what do you need to do with the y? You add 5 to both sides. So your equation is y is equal to 1/3 x plus 2 squared plus 5. All right. Let's take a look. Okay? There's not really A, B, or C in a vertex form. I could show you how to do it. But when it's in a vertex form, all you need to do is write the A. Don't worry about the B and the C. We'll get to that later. This is 1/3. Since it's positive, it's going to open up. Okay? Your axis of symmetry, this is your H, is always going to be opposite because it's x minus h squared. So if that's positive, x is equal to -2. Always the opposite. And this one is your K. So what is your vertex? -2, positive 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Axis of symmetry is at -2. What is your vertex? -2, 5. Right there. All right. Now this one, There's nothing for you to plug in to find your roots. You can't find your discriminant, so I just want you to kind of think about it. Here's your vertex. Let's go ahead and graph to help us find it, how many roots. So you guys know what roots is, right? Here we go. Y equal, type it just like you see it, okay? Anytime you have a fraction, put it around in parentheses, 1 divided by 3, just like that, parentheses. X plus 2 square plus 5, not 8, 5. Second table, go find your vertex. See that? Find the next two whole number. So we got -2, 5, 1, 8, 4, 17. Okay? Go up as well. There's -2, 5, -5, 8, and then -8, 17. All right. So we've got our axis of symmetry. Next one is 1, 8, 4, 17. Oh, I am so small. I beg your pardon. Let me erase that real quick. 1, 8. 1, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. 4, 17. So it's way up here somewhere. -5, -3, -4, -5, and 8. So it kind of gives you a shape. The other one's way up here somewhere. And there you have it. Did it ever cross the x-axis? Since it doesn't, it has no root. Okay? Alrighty. Here's another one. Let's take a look. This is the same as y equals 1x squared plus 0x plus 4. No parentheses. Notice that? So 1 is positive, so it's going to open up. Your A is 1, B 0, C is 4. Let's go find our axis of symmetry. Now, you can write it like this, but here's another way you could have written this as well. 1x plus 0 squared. See that? There's no 0. You don't write 0. Plus 4. So guess what? Here's your H. Here's your K. 0, 4. So axis of symmetry is 0. Okay? We'll come back to the roots like we've done in the past. All right. Let's go ahead and find some points. Clear that. Type that in. X squared plus 4. Second table, go find your vertex. 0, 4. 2 numbers down, 1, 5. 2 coordinates down, 2, 8. 2 coordinates up, -1, 5. -2, 8. All right, let's go ahead and graph. Here we go. X, I got to get this to work. X, Y. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, here we go. 0, 4. So your axis of symmetry is 0. Order pair is 0, 4. 1, 5. 2, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. -1, 5. And there I have my graph. Opens up like I said. Does it cross? So you have 0 root. All right. That is pretty much the notes. This is all I want you guys to try to find for your assignment. And if you have any questions, let me know. But that's it. You guys will get to work on this the next day as well. Okay? Thank you. Have a great night. Please be good for the sub. Bye.